This is the Explosion Network's Fast and Furious podcast, and we don't have friends. We have family. Each week in the lead up to Fast and Furious 9, we should be cracking a Corona to discuss the films, character, music, and more of the Fast saga. My name is Dylan Blight, and joining me today, Kieran Marchant.
Hello, what's up, my dudes? We hungry.
And Ashley Hobley.
You say what? This shit just went from Mission Impossible to Mission in freaking Sanity. Whatever, man. I ain't scared. I'm just letting you all know. Recording this podcast, it's crazy.
Shit out here is vehicular war. Oh, that's the next movie. Vehicular warfare. So this week we are talking about Fast 5. It was released in 2011, directed by Justin Lin, written by Chris Morgan. Main cast, of course, Vin Diesel, Paul Walker, Jordana, Brewster, Tyrese, Gibson, Chris Ludacris Bridges, Matt Schulze, Sung Kang, Gal Gadot, Tego, Calderon, Don Omar, Joaquim del Almeida, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and Elsa Pataky. The synopsis for the film is Dominic Toretto and his crew of street racers plan a... Wait, I've skipped to the... That's the wrong one, is that right? No, it is right. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. I got scared. I was so scared because it was the wrong one before. I'm like, is this right? It's fine. I'll just put it in. Edits happen. Everyone's fine. Elsa Pataky. The synopsis for this film is Dominic Toretto and his crew of street racers plan a massive heist to buy their freedom while in the sights of a powerful Brazilian drug lord and a dangerous federal agent.
All right, listen up. The men we're after are professional runners. We find them, we take them as a team, and we bring them back. And above all else, we don't ever let them get into cars.
I think this is kind of the turning point for the franchise in a lot of ways. This is the one where people either really dove off it and started hating it, and this is also, I feel like, the point where everyone started really liking it in a lot of ways. Also, like that's why I call. We talked about it last week. Like, to me, 4 is this transitional period between like the old and the new, and 5 is officially like the new. And this is the film that like kind of moves the franchise really into a heist format. Like, pretty much every movie after this is about like some sort of kind of heist that involves cars as the getaway things, cars as the attacking things, cars as the defensive things. Like, the cars as heist, and we got to take something and steal something or save someone or something, but all kind of heisty. Some of the random trivia things I wrote down here that we can talk about as you go over your thoughts. Han's alias appears in this movie on a computer screen, and it's written as Han Solo, which is obviously rather a good joke there, everyone. And then Eva Mendes, of course, makes her one cameo in the whole franchise in the after credit scene in this movie, which we can discuss in a little bit as well. But Kieran, what are your thoughts on Fast 5?
I really enjoyed this movie. Not just because of its change to format of heist, and we'll talk a bit about the heist and why I love it so much later on, but I think this is where Paul Walker and Vin Diesel's chemistry and relationship kind of hits a new bound. Like, hits a new level where it's like, it's so much more like a brotherly thing that is... This movie and the next movie both do this really well, and it makes what is coming in a couple movies' time so fucking hard to watch. But I just really enjoy this movie. I love the team aspect of it. I like the ridiculousness that The Rock brings to this franchise.
This is his most hammy version of this role too.
Like,
it's kind of toned down in the future, but
yes, yeah, it's just this. If you could think of like the most American quote unquote badass in the world, that's just a meathead, and you just get his character. You get Hobbs in this movie, and it's
hey,
just
woman.
Fun.
Like,
I like a smile.
Yeah, like a smile. Ash, how do you feel about Fast 5?
Yeah, it's great. I think it's probably the best one. Like you said, it's kind of a turning point for the franchise. For the first time, Dom and Brian are on the same page. Like, they've got the same goals and the same intentions and everything. Clearly, The Rock is the big get for this, and it pretty much resurrected his career, arguably. Like, you think about the movies that he made prior to Fast 5, Tooth Fairy,
that
Get
classic.
Smart, other guys. And then you look at what he did after, which is pretty much they went, hey, here's a great idea. Let's just stick The Rock in all these dormant franchises. He'll make them...
Journey 2,
then G.I. Joe Retaliation, which is much better than the first one, is really good. And then he got to do whatever he wanted after that. Got to make his Hercules movie. Then he did San Andreas.
Look, The Rock has, in his acting career in recent history, this shotgun effect where he's like, I'm going to be in all these movies. One of them's going to be good at some point. Even if the rest of them are crap, I'm still getting paid like a stupid amount of money to do it all.
Yep. Damn right. I really like this one as well. I wouldn't say it's not my personal favorite, but it's probably the one I've got I think it was that first one. It was the first one I ever saw in cinema. I never saw any of the others in cinema. This was the first one. I always caught the rest on DVD and whatever else.
No, I think I saw Tokyo Drift and Fast 4 in cinemas. Yeah.
Really? I don't think, because Tokyo Drift obviously came out when I was in high school. And I think when I was in high school, like, I really didn't know what was on at the cinema unless it was something massive that, like, I saw an ad for on TV, or like someone in my family was excited for, or something like that. So I reckon Tokyo Drift like came and went. I never even saw it. Literally everything that we talked about, like when Tokyo Drift got big in my school, it was because it was out in DVD and everyone was watching it at the same time and everyone was loving the soundtrack and everything. But like when it was at cinema, I doubt anyone was. There was probably one kid in their whole school that'd seen it. So I don't know. Anyway, high school's a weird time for movies. But yeah, this is the first one I paid and went and saw. So this has that memory foam. No, it's really, really good. I kind of forgot, because I haven't watched it in quite some time, how hammy The Rock is in this movie, though. And as Ash points out, it inarguably kind of did propel his career forward. And he gets stuck playing similar sort of characters now, even though he tries to work around it. But it's still just like, play the big tough guy, just do that.
I think he likes doing that, though.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean,
he wrote his own TV show. He plays pretty much the same guy.
Bowlers, which they give a call out into the next one, basically. So, and I mean, this is the first one where there was that. Was it last year or the year before that article came out about talking about like how they had to work out exactly how many hits each actor could take and all that sort of stuff. That, like, watching Vin Diesel fight The Rock in this, I couldn't help but think about that article where I was like, okay, so he got him here, Vin Diesel got this punch off here, but then The Rock, like I could literally just track the like bang, bang, bang. Oh, you slam me through a chair, I slam you through the wall. You slam me through the wall, I slam you onto the table. Punch, punch, punch. Like, there's just so much trade. Like this, because this is the first film where we get like a big proper like star v star fight. No other movie has up until this one obviously has that, and then every movie forward from this one has a more fist fight stuff, which the films have had fist fight action, but not like proper like action star level. These are both known actors.
Bigger name antagonists.
Yes, this is where the film starts doing that. Not like, oh, some random person you've never heard of. They're the bad guy, whatever. Like, they'll sit in the background, blah blah blah. No. This film sets the standard of, it's got to be a known actor. It's got to be someone that can fight. They got to they got to brawl. They got to have it off, like, and every film after this adds more on top of the car action and adds more action stuff like fist fights, which apparently Paul Walker was a fan of because he was like, he did jiu-jitsu or something in real life as well. So in a lot of ways, this whole franchise was just like Paul Walker being like, I love cars in real life, jiu-jitsu in real life. Like, what else can we get? Like, just do this whole thing. No wonder he liked doing the damn movies. Just more shit to do. No, but yeah, it's really good. Let's talk about, not to obviously skip too far ahead, but I do want to cover the cameo now before we get too distracted by other things potentially. So skipping right to the end of the movie, comes up, Eva Mendes appears, chucks Hobbs down, photo of Letty, obviously. Because this is the first film that does a stinger.
Yep.
This is and next one does it, and the next one does it. This is where they start being like,
hey, Marvel's gone to something.
Yeah. Like let's let's start doing these after credit scenes. So yeah, like, is it funny to watch now? Like, obviously with older Marvel movies, because even when this came out, it was only a couple of years after Iron Man. Really, you know, like 2008. This is 2011. So
this came out at when these kind of cutscenes, when these kind of extras kind of were at their peak or starting to get towards.
I
their
think
peak.
they were only just starting. It's 2011. You know, like
because they've been going since the Iron Man in 2008, and so 2011 is close to Avengers coming out, which is 2012 was when the first Avengers movie came out.
Yeah.
So by this point, there's been at least 2 Iron Man movies, a Thor movie, and Captain America is somewhere around this time.
Yeah.
So Marvel has pretty handedly started doing these after credits scenes.
Yeah, 100%. But I would still say Fast Five was quick to jump on the. It was
very quick to read the trend and get on board with it. Correct.
Yeah, quite funny. All right, so family. Talk about Hobbs. Hobbs is introduced in this film, obviously, and although he's an antagonist of this film, he then ends up being a member of the family as we go forward. And of course, he gets a spin-off, in case you didn't know somehow. We will not be discussing that movie on this podcast because it's not really relevant to anything. It's not mainline, and I don't know, maybe he's not part of the family anymore. I don't know. I'll have to ask Tyrese and Vin Diesel.
I think he's a bit biased. He might be a bit biased.
Yeah, might be a bit biased. So yeah, Hobbs introduced in this movie. Looking back, because that's the thing I felt watching this movie. Because obviously the last one I saw him in was 8. And 8, he's just like front and center. He's in a lot of that movie, like probably the most of any of them. Like he's just one of the main characters. Kieran hasn't seen 8 yet, so you're about to find out. Like, he's one
they
of the
needed
main
to. They
dudes.
killed everybody off, so.
Well, yeah, a lot of ways. Like he's in 7 a bit, obviously 6 he's a little bit of whatever. Like he gets more and more each time, but coming from 8 and then rewinding to this, jumping into this, I'm like, man, I don't know how we all grew to like this character, because I enjoy watching him play that role, but I'm like, I don't if I could punch him, I would, but I wouldn't because I would die, kind of thing, you know, like, you know, like he's just an asshole, and they play like, especially because his whole thing is like, I'm big, me and my team go in, ask no questions, like kill people, ask questions later type attitude, you know, like they could be innocent, don't give a shit. And then it's interesting because, of course, you think that's the turning point for his character of that whole attitude, even though that's his whole thing. Like, I'll catch you, I don't care, I'll fucking kill you, I don't care. But then once his whole team dies, then all of a sudden you get this switch to, all right, I'll do the job because I want revenge for my team. Which watching it's very whiplashy, but I'm like, I can kind of buy it, I guess.
I think it's not just the fact that his team died, but it's his team died, and these people that he's seen as criminal and the worst of the worst are the ones that actually save him, and they risk their lives to save him. I think, even though he doesn't want to admit it at that point in the film, they've earned his respect a lot in that moment, which I think counts for a lot for Hobbs in this movie, where it's his respect and his viewpoint on the world. He's very much judge, jury, and executioner for these people. He gets told these are the bad guys, and he goes and does whatever he has to get them. And that you know, there is things around that. Is that really a good character? Like, is that really a quote unquote a good guy? Like, but yeah, he still has his code and what he runs by, and so. It's a nice way to bring him into the fold of the family.
Whatever you do, don't let them get into their cars. Yeah.
And just the look on his face when he opens up the vault after they're driving away, and there's no money in it, and he has just this motherfuckers like just
that's more like his character in the future films. That moment of just being
definitely,
yeah,
that's fine. I'll get them later type thing. All right, so let's go over. I want to go over like how everyone kind of comes back and returns for this one, obviously, like because this is the film where it's like let's like start tying, you know, everyone back.
Let's build a team.
Let's build a team and like let's connect all the movies, because up until this point it's very much like there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, 4 brought back the cast from 1, and now this one's like, okay, we're combining everything finally. Let's go for gold here. So you obviously get Roman and Tej come back. Roman is, as we've talked about, from the get-go he's shown in this, like it's obviously Roman. Like you can tell it's Roman because from straight away, smart ass, smart talking, whatever else. But he's still, as I mentioned, Too Fast, Too Furious, from the second he shows up here, is less of the smart ass that will like punch you dude to like just the smart ass jokester character. Like straight away I could feel the switch there.
Like they said, he's the big mouth, talk shit.
But even that, he doesn't do the big mouth talk shit in a smart or like a way that you're like, oh, he knows exactly what he's doing. He just seems to say shit, and it just ends up working out in his favor.
Yeah,
which
Y'all
is
crazy.
weird.
I ain't doing this shit.
It's weird when they've got Han on the team that kind of does the same thing in many ways, and it's probably a better driver. And
yeah,
better.
The scene of like we need this person. I'm like, y'all don't need this many people. Like it's just you're making up a reason. We'll need a chameleon, someone who can fit in. We'll need a fast talker. We'll need
it's kind of made a bit more apparent in the next movie when two of the team just don't come back. Like it's like yeah, it's just like, oh, okay, you've realized you didn't need those two characters. Okay.
They weren't necessary,
Yeah.
But it's like this one, they were like, we want to use everyone. So then obviously Tej, I know we kind of talked about this Too Fast, Too Furious as well, but I feel I can tell it's the same character, but it's obviously like, well, this is like years later. You know, like it's similar, but like more evolved. I don't feel like it's a different character though.
Yeah, the only thing I have with Tej is his dream is to open a garage.
Yeah, and he already
had a garage in Fast and Furious. Too Fast and Furious.
Yeah,
and not just a garage, but like a whole like empire of just like his hand.
And the one that he has at the end of the film doesn't look nearly as cool as the one he had in Too Fast, Too Furious.
My fan fiction is that he lost it or something to like just fill in the loopholes.
I guess because they're on the run. You can't have like one.
The thing, and I don't know if this is ever maybe developed or more in number 8 as the one I haven't seen. His backstory, I highly doubt it. I 100% agree. His backstory just irks me because, you know, when he's doing stuff, they're like, "How do you know this?" He's like, "Oh, well, I did a lot of stuff before you met me in the garage," and it's like, yeah, but what?
Spin off.
It's fine. I don't care.
Like, how does this make this? Like, this was never mentioned in Too Fast, Too Furious, so there wasn't even an inkling of it. Like,
I don't mind the whole thing of like Tej being like computer smart and all that sort of stuff. That's what I'm saying. Like, when I was watching Too Fast, Too Furious, and like watching it through that lens of knowing where his character ends up, there's no point in that movie where I'm like, they never not say it, but they never do say it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so like you could fit it in and be like, yeah, on the side he's like playing with computers and stuff. You just don't see it. Like, because we see him like racing, we see that he's smart to like plan the races and like
he got that bridge to go up.
Else. Yeah, like I mean, there's no point where it's ever like the dude's made out to be dumb. There's nothing in that movie to say he can't not be fucking with computers on the side and whatever else.
It's just a big jump. Like, it's just like
it is like
that's
off
the
the
only
bridge.
thing. Like, yeah, well, yeah, of course. Thanks. Yeah, fucking hell. It's just a big jump to go from, okay, he's kind of smart and kind of street savvy and stuff, to being able to like hack into systems and like know the inner workings of mechanical systems of safes and all that kind of shit. It's like,
yeah,
oh, okay.
they needed one character to do it, and like, well, we won't stereotype. We'll have the black guy do it, not the Asian guy. It's fine. Really, Fast and Furious is rather a one of the most diverse franchises not playing into stereotypes. Like, when you think about
progressive.
Yeah,
speaking of progressive, and I will say,
I mean, there's no gay characters, but other than that, I mean,
yet
true, yet
go for 9.
I will say that I will say thanks to this movie and thanks to this podcast, even I am more appreciative of Han. Every time I see Han eating something or eating his bag of chips, it just gives me this warm feeling of just like, God, you've come so far and you've moved all the way from Better Luck Tomorrow. And
don't you wish you hadn't watched the trailer until you finished the series?
Yeah, I know, right? Like, it definitely would have changed things, but it's very fun.
So someone else who shows up in this movie obviously is the return of Vince. which I always thought was cool. Like I really enjoy how they bring him back. Like it does bring back one character like from that movie to have fit this role. I think obviously Vince makes the most sense because like you get the drama between him and Brian, and it makes it more fun than if it was someone else who actually was like I never had many problems with Brian in the first movie kind of thing, you know. So the other character that was left, his name I can't remember, but
because he's forgettable. Yeah.
It was forgettable. I mean, Vince. I wouldn't remember Vince's name if he was only in the first one either. Like it's because he's in at least 2, so it kind of works out. And like he doesn't do massive things in the movie.
Well,
but
he makes more of an impact than the other guy does.
That's true.
And the thing is, I really like how, and this shows that the writers for these movies actually have some kind of forethought for character development, where you get to this movie and it isn't like Brian and Vince are instantly cool with each other. Like, it isn't like a Vince is like, oh, thanks for calling in the, blah, 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 and saving my life and whatever. It's like there instantly there's a bit more, I guess.
Yeah, I'm on the run.
Is the word.
I had to leave my home.
I'm on the run.
Yeah,
like there's still, and the moment something happens, those two are just back at each other, like instantly.
Watch your back.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, you fucking idiot. And also, really, whoever does costume design or makeup and stuff, I like the touch of him still having scars on his one arm.
Yeah, he's got the scars where the wire was on his arm. Yeah, I've always said like that, and I mean this is just running all of these movies. As I think I said in the first time, the reason I like these movies is for the characters, not for the action. Action's fun, but the reason I like these movies is for the characters. And I think when it comes to the main characters, they've always been pretty good about actually telling, like, keeping the roller coaster of those characters rides that make sense. Like having Tej go from non-computers to computers, it's like whatever, he's a side character. But when it comes to like Brian and Dom and whoever else, they're like, gotta keep shit up, gotta keep shit going. How do we feel about Han and Giselle's relationship kicking off in this movie?
Great.
This is the starting factor.
Fantastic.
Does it work? Does it make sense? Is it fun to watch?
Great chemistry, you know?
I enjoy that they kind of leave behind that Giselle was a possible love interest for Dom in the last movie. Like they kind of they step away from that pretty quickly in this one. So it's like, cool, we're moving on. And then their relationship is very interesting to watch grow and for them to interact with each other. I think they both have great chemistry together. And yeah, they're really fun to watch.
He's like the only guy that's not all over her. And then I love that one scene where she does the drift trial thing and like she goes around the whole thing. And she's like, it just like takes one bite or something. It's like, I think I'm in love.
Yeah, just that look. And he gets it a couple times throughout the 2 movies that they're together. And
there's a lot of mutual respect. That's what.
Yeah. Which I think plays in more to the second one. The next movie. Obviously, there's like there's a good line in that one, which we'll get to next week. How do we feel about if Hobbs is the main bad guy, but like the guy they're robbing, Reyes, the villain? Like, I think the big difference between 4 and 5 in this movie is that, because it's like if we didn't have The Rock as like the full-on antagonist chasing them type thing, we would have just had Reyes, and this movie would have felt very similar to the last one, just with more people involved in the stuff, and it wouldn't have been as good. You know.
And Reyes is very bland and just kind of serviceable.
Another drug dealer.
Drug dealing bad guy who's running the city. Cool. Sure. I guess he gets pissed off.
He serves his purpose of having a lot of money.
The only thing is, I guess it's the only thing that's weird or bad is that like he plays exactly into their hands at every decision. Like everything that they're like, we're going to do this and this is going to happen. There's never that thing where he's like, aha, I've turned the tables on you, motherfuckers. No, it's just, he does exactly what.
That's because they're criminals and they know how criminals think.
He's like, we'll rob one thing. And then straight away the dude's like, I've been robbed once. You grab all my money and move it to one location right now within the hour. Like,
I mean, to be fair, it's a pretty good plan. Especially when your money's inside a massive police station, inside a massive station.
Well, when you're moving to a police station, it's like, can you just have not kept it in there the entire time? Like, if you're able to buy out all the cops, fucking keep it in there. why are we even playing around this? And how do we feel about, lastly, how do we feel about Elena in this? Which I wasn't sure if I'd chuck her under the family tree or not. I guess she's kind of like...
She is technically family.
She's technically family, but she has such a weird role that you feel so sorry for her.
Yeah, like it's weird watching this film with... I don't know how much do you know, Ken? Like, I can't spoil stuff, can I?
I don't know anything about it.
Okay, so I won't say because it'll be more fun to hear your reactions in a couple weeks' time to something. I mean, the only thing we're spoiling is Elena shows up in 8, and we'll be interested to see how she shows. I mean, she's in 6, she's in 7, she's in 8, but her role in 8 is her most interesting.
Prominent,
yeah.
Okay.
Especially like with everything that happens in this film and next film, and it's like. Elena's just this character that's getting kicked around a lot. Like,
it'd just be really nice if they had given her a movie without, like, it's like they go from this movie to, hey, Letty's alive, and you're like, well, she's getting dropped like yesterday's bad takeaway food. Like,
at least in this movie, she gets to like be a cool cop or whatever. Like,
yes,
she's the one good cop in Rio.
Yeah, the one good cop in the whole of the fucking place. Yeah. All right. Any last things, any scenes anyone wants to call out before we move on to favorite line in the mix?
Did Dom throw the race?
Yes. 100%. 100% he did. And I fucking love Han and Roman in that moment. Like, in that moment after, where they're two are fucking walking up and you're like, these two know. And then, like, he's, like, just that line where he's like, he doesn't know. He didn't realize. Like, and Brian's just, like, so fucking, like...
high on himself,
he's like... he's like,
he's
finally
like, you don't know how long
Dom.
I've been waiting for this guy. It's like, I can't believe it. And it's like, they're just like, he doesn't know.
It's just that sense of friendship. And I will say, now that I've watched this one, and spoilers for watching because I've already watched next week's, is you know what I made a comment when we watched Too Fast and Furious that I thought Roman's and Brian's relationship dies off a lot. These two movies, I think I take that comment back a little bit more because they definitely do have that moment. Yes, their bond isn't as strong as Dom and Brian, but they definitely do have those moments of childhood best friends that are still giving each other shit.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he literally like noogies his head at one stage in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. They do like little things to show their characters without the dialogue. All right, so
and the final safe scene. Great.
Oh, it's probably my favorite heist reveal, possibly out of any movie. I remember being like, that's so fucking awesome in when I first watched this movie, and then every time since, I always pay attention to the garbage truck after they drive past, and it's like, holy fuck, like that is like the same, almost pretty much the same shot, the same, it actually happened. Like, pretty
convenient, but it's still cool.
The best thing about the safe thing is the safe's real.
Yeah.
Is it the safe's real, except for at one point it's got a car inside of it.
It does have a car.
The entire time it's a car. Or what? I don't. It's an automobile. I don't know if we'd call it a car. It's something with someone inside driving it, but it's still as practical as you could shoot this scene. They did, which means those two cars are driving,
ruining the road.
They're attached to it. Another car is driving it. It's kind of trying not to crash it.
Yeah. Like, even though I will say, Gal Gadot is a little bit wasted by the end of the movie when all she's there for is to drive the garbage truck.
Oh, she has that. Yeah.
Well,
they
couldn't help it. The plan changed. Can't help it. No.
Too many characters. But no, that scene where everyone's like, because that's the scene everyone points to where they're like, these movies are shit now. They're like dragging us safe down the ground or whatever else. But the one thing I always say about these movies is like everyone complains and whatever else. And I'll point out all the stuff. Like I love all of these movies. This one, next one. Like all the big stunts, as much as they could practically do, they've shot them all practical. Like all these movies that everyone complains, everyone treats these like these big Michael Bay CGI fuckfests. When I'm like, they're not though. Like they are, obviously they have CGI, but like most of the stunts, the car stunts in these movies are usually done practically, and they have some really cool car stunts in them.
Even I think I remember watching the behind the scenes bit of the section where the safe rolls through that building and fucking go, and it's like
Through the
it
bank,
actually
yeah.
did that. Like they actually did that shit. Like that's not like some CGI fest. It is fucking destroying the shit out of that building.
And not to like skip ahead to like, because I want to do, when we talk about 8, I want to kind of at the end of the episode do a like last thoughts before 9 type thing. But watching this one again, one thought I had was like, oh my God, I'm so happy Justin Lin's coming back to this franchise. Because spoilers, I'm not the biggest fan of 8, but I'm like watching, I'm like, he gets it. Like he gets how to shoot this ridiculous action on such a fine line that it's like, he knows it's silly, but he does enough of it practically and shoots it in such a way that he's like, I treat it serious, even though I know it's silly, which means the audience will believe, kind of thing. Like, I feel like he has a special way with these action scenes in these movies, especially when we get to next week.
Super quick shout out to the scene where Mia tells Dom and Brian that she's pregnant is just like the sweetest thing. It's like, fuck, these movies can be really wholesome at times and just really nice and make you feel all warm and fuzzy.
Some would say it's about family. Okay.
Oh my God. Wait, we should name a podcast after that.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
All right. Favorite line of the movie. Of course, every Fast and Furious movie has some cheesy and gratifying dialogue. This week, I'm going with the line, this shit just went from Mission Impossible to Mission in freaking Sanity.
Ashley ruined it for you, man.
Sorry,
You already
I
said
know.
it.
Yeah, he already said
He
it.
already
But that was my
said
pick.
it.
I wrote it down. I'm not changing it now just because he said it. That's my pick. Ash, what's your pick? Are you just picking what you fucking open the show with?
All right, listen up. The guys we're after are professional runners. They're like speed and are guaranteed to go down the hardest way possible. So make sure you got your thunderwear on. We find them, we take them as a team, we bring them back. And above all else, don't ever let them get in the car.
Ash this morning in the mirror. Don't ever let him get in the car.
I'm telling you, we are audience members. Please do whatever you need to. Raise the freaking, make a hashtag. I don't care. We need Ashley Hobley one-man show, the Fast and Furious series, like, or just like supercuts of him in different sections as characters. Just would be amazing.
We'll do it.
Kieran, what's your favorite scene?
I think I got stuck between 2. The runner-up is definitely, I don't know why it made me laugh so much, but after the line that's, out of all of us, you got the biggest mouth, just Tej being so quick on the, that's for damn sure, made me laugh so much because it's just so natural and it doesn't feel like a forced line. It almost feels like...
Maybe it wasn't.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't. And like, there's a couple times where, and I think Ludacris actually does this a little bit throughout the movies where he'll say something and other people will start losing their shit in a very normal way that make you think, no, that was on the fly and people were not expecting that comment. The other is just when The Rock shows up at the car meet and he's like, you're under arrest. And Dom's just like, well, I don't feel under arrest. How about you, Brian? Brian's like, nope, not a thing.
No.
Like just like it just shows the ego of Hobbs of just how confident he is in the situation and just how badly he's reading it.
This is Brazil.
So I also had two runners up. When
Go.
at the very end, when The Rock says, I'll see you soon, and Dom goes, no, you won't. That's great. And then when Han comes in and says, I thought cockfights were illegal in Rio. You know? And that's when Giselle fell in love.
Yeah, that's when Giselle was like, this guy's a funny man. All right, going on to the mix, picking 2 songs each. Any duplicates are allowed, of course. We're adding them to the ultimate Spotify playlist of Fast and Furious songs. This movie has a lot of the songs not available on Spotify. So anyway, what I ended up picking was Furiously Dangerous, because that's the credit song and it's cool. It's got Ludacris, Slaughterhouse, Claret Jai. And then I picked Desafabio, Marcella D2 Claudia. Desparfo? I don't know. Sounds cool anyway.
Yeah.
Ash, what'd you pick?
I also picked Desparfo, which if you didn't pick up, that's the scene where Giselle walks up to Herman Riaz in the hotel.
Yeah.
Great scene. And then I
Which I
picked
love
How
it.
We Roll by Busta Rhymes and Don Mabel.
I don't know why you're laughing. What's the? Do you not take Busta Rhymes serious? Come on now. Kieran, what'd you pick?
Furiously Dangerous, also. And Danza Kuduro, which is like the song that kind of like in like towards the end of the movie where it's always the happy ending and it's showing everybody and like going off and stuff. And it's just like there's something like just even listening to it, I was listening before the show, just makes you feel really like just fucking good. Like just makes you feel nice that the movie's coming to an end. Everything's a happy ending. We're in a great spot in the Fast and Furious life. Like it's a good song.
All right. So, looks like we're all out of NOS for this week. Shut up. You can follow us all on Twitter by heading to explosionnetwork.com/Twitter, of course. If at any stage, you can feel free to just tweet at any of us and say how much you love the intro and outro for the show. Zingers, left, right, and center.
Which attempt at the intro or the outro of the show, the first or the second that they didn't hear?
They didn't hear the first or second, they heard the third. That is correct. This week, next week, we're discussing Furious 6, so make sure to watch that before the episode drops. And remember that #justice is coming.
Do you believe in ghosts?